Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to read a chapter from our devotions for kids called Choosing What to Do. My dad always used to tell me, and he still does, always do the right thing. And your heart will tell you what is the right thing. Basketball, soccer, and band. Quiet time, homework, and chores. Movies with friends, family time, and youth group retreats. Even though you're young, there's so much to do. The fact is, you won't be able to do all the things you want to do, or even all the things other people want you to do. Though you need to talk to mom and dad about what you need to be doing. Your time and energy are limited. So before you choose your activities, say a prayer, and I will show you what is truly important. Checking with me, with my word, will help you make the best use of your time. It will also take away worries or guilt about the choices that you make. When you let me be your guide, you can relax and enjoy and focus. Excuse me, can you settle down there, miss? And focus on doing well at the things that I consider important. And as you do what pleases me, you'll grow more and more like the masterpiece I created you to be. So when you're not sure about what to do, boys and girls, you say a little prayer to God, and He will give you the answers. Depend on the Lord and His strength. Always go to Him for help. God has made us what we are. In Christ Jesus, God made us new people so that we would do good works. God had planned in advance those good works for us. He had planned for us to live our lives doing them. So boys and girls, sometimes you have to make choices. And if you make good choices, it's hard. It's hard to make good choices. But in the long run, you'll be happy for those good choices. So a perfect example is Willy Wonka. These kids did not make good choices. They weren't thinking about other people. They were only thinking about themselves. And that's why only Charlie is left. Excuse me, my little pumpkin. That's not good for you. You can't have that. Okay? You be a good girl. Good girl. Which room should be next? Said Mr. Wonka as he moved away and dashed to the elevator. Come on, hurry up. We must get going. How many children are left now? Little Charlie looked at Grandpa Joe, and Grandpa Joe looked at Charlie. But Mr. Wonka, there's only Charlie left. Mr. Wonka swung around and stared at Charlie. There was a silence. Charlie stood there holding tightly onto Grandpa Joe's hand. You're the only one left, Mr. Wonka said, pretending to be surprised. Yes, whispered Charlie. Yes. Mr. Wonka suddenly exploded with excitement. But my dear boy, that means you've won. He rushed out of the elevator and started shaking Charlie's hand so furiously it nearly came off. I congratulate you. I really do. I'm absolutely delighted. It couldn't be better. How wonderful this is. I had a hunch about you. There she is. Right from the beginning, that it was going to be you. Well done, Charlie. Well done. This is terrific. Now the fun really starts, but we mustn't dilly. We mustn't dally. There's even less time to lose now than there was before. We have an enormous number of things to do. Think of all the arrangements that have to be made, and the people that we have to fetch. But luckily for us, we have the great glass elevator to speed things up. Jump in, Charlie. Jump in. You too, Grandpa Joe. Now, this time, I shall choose the button that we are going to press. Something crazy is going to happen now, Charlie thought, but he wasn't frightened. He wasn't even nervous. He was excited, and so was Grandpa Joe. The old man's face was shining with excitement. Mr. Wonka reached for a button high on the glass ceiling of the elevator. Charlie and Grandpa Joe both craned their necks to read what it said. Up and out. Up and out? What sort of room is that? Mr. Wonka pressed the button. The doors closed. Hold on, said Mr. Wonka. Then, wham! The elevator shot straight up like a rocket. Yippee! Shouted Grandpa Joe. Charlie was clinging to Grandpa Joe's legs, and Mr. Wonka was holding on to a strap from the ceiling. And up and up and up, no twistings or turnings. Charlie could hear the whistling of the air. Yippee, said Grandpa Joe. Here we go. Faster, said Mr. Wonka. If we don't go faster, we won't get through. Through what? What have we got to get through? You wait and see. I've been longing to press this button for years, but have never done it. I was tempted. Oh, yes, I was tempted. But I didn't want to make a big hole in the roof of the factory. Here we go, boys, up and out. But you don't mean, said Grandpa Joe. This elevator isn't going to. Yes, it is. Wait and see, up and out. But it's made of glass. It could break into a million pieces. Maybe, said Mr. Wonka, but it's pretty thick glass. The elevator rushed on, going up and faster, and suddenly crash. A tremendous noise of splintering wood and broken tiles came from directly above their heads, and Grandpa Joe shouted, It's the end! We're done for! But Mr. Wonka said, No, we're through. We're through. Sure enough, the elevator shot right up through the roof, out of the factory, and was now rising into the sky like a rocket. The elevator's gone mad, said Grandpa Joe. Have no fear, dear sir, said Mr. Wonka. He pressed another button. The elevator stopped. It hung in midair, hovering like a helicopter. They could see the town, which lay before them like a picture postcard. Looking down through the glass floor on which he was standing, Charlie could see the small, faraway houses and the trees and the snow that lay thickly over everything. It was eerie and frightening. He was standing on a clear glass elevator floor. It made you feel like you weren't standing on anything at all. Are we okay? Said Grandpa Joe. How does this thing stay up? Candy power, said Mr. Wonka. 1,000,000 candy power. And look, there go the other children. They're returning home. And the next chapter, 29, is called The Other Children Go Home. All right, boys and girls, have a great day.